Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is a second haul, which is another Time Life book haul. Now, if you're a lot like me, when it comes to me, one of my favorite things to watch on TV is crime dramas. I love seeing how the cops manage to solve the crimes. I love watching Forensic Files. The ID channel, I love that channel. Amazing, awesome, cool. But there is another way for you to also get your crime drama when you don't feel like watching TV. And I'm one of those people who, well, when the time comes, if I decide not to watch TV, I'm not going to watch TV. So, like I was saying, I love Snap. I love children serial killers, all kind of stuff. I love watching these shows, and I love to hear about the crimes and what happened to the victims and then what happened to the killer. I love hearing how the justice came down upon them. So, in the last couple of years, after Time Life created the Enchanted World series, they also created a second series. Series number 2. And series number 2 had to be the coolest of them all. I'm sorry to say it, I love mythical creatures, but I also like to know what's going on around in our world. So basically, like I said, when it comes to horror movies, I'm one of the I love horror movies. So basically, to find a book that actually tells the true story of certain things is a prize in itself. So I have always known about these books. It's just that over the last couple of years, I just remembered that they even exist. Time Life's second series of books is this, basically. True Crimes. This is the name of the Time Life second series. I think it was the second series. I'm not really sure, but I think this was their second series. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know some people gonna comment, oh my god, do you know there's a TV show called True Crime? Yes, I do know about the TV show. I do watch that show. So basically, the book that you see here is, I only have 3 of these books because the others are really not something I'm interested in, but I do plan on getting the rest of them. This one is called Compulsion to Kill. The first part of this book is called Serial Killers. And it basically tells you about all of the most famous serial killers that you have ever heard of, including some that I never even knew existed. And the last but not least of this little series is called Unsolved Crimes. So basically, each one of these books are basically they're all hardcover. I have never seen a softcover version of these. However, I think there are some softcover versions of some of Time Life's other books, but I prefer the hardcover because the hardcover actually lasts longer than the softcovers. They're beautiful books, and as you can see, they're black from the beginning. You should know all of the photographs in these books are black and white. There are no colored photographs in here. Even the pictures of some of the victims are black and white. And I understand why they did that, because they actually, how they did these books, they actually got the police who, during the time of the crime, they basically, after the crime went through court and everything, and they could publish these pictures, they went through different sources to get the information as well as the photos from the cases and stuff. So, like the crime scene photos and stuff, they do have crime scene photos in here. Some of them you can make out, some you can't. So, I think one of my favorite ones of this little set is got to be the serial killer one, because you actually get to learn about Ted Bundy before he became a serial killer, after he became a serial killer, and you even get to know the numbers of people he murdered. You also learn about John Wayne Gacy. If you don't know who he is actually a serial killer who murdered young men. And basically, he buried most of their bodies underneath his house. And there were 22 bodies found underneath his house and all. And this is from me just reading this. Dennis Nielsen is known as a man known as the British Butcher. See, I never knew about him. That's one thing about these books. They get into serial killers you never knew about. Serial killers that basically, because of these big names like Ted Bundy, David Berkowitz, and John Wayne Gacy, because of these big names, they basically the other serial killers kind of went into obscurity and people ignored them. And the only reason why some of them are even known to regular people was because they ended up making movies out of them, like Ed Gaines. The reason why people know about Ed Gaines is because he is also known as the guy who several of our favorite horror movies are based on. Like, actually, the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre is actually based on the life of Ed Gaines. But you hear all this, and then you thinking, okay, so did he really do what was going on from the movie? And then you discover that when you read the true story about Ed Gaines, it was nothing even close to that. They just came up with the idea to create Leatherface. Ed Gaines is actually based on Leatherface is actually based on Ed Gaines. And the way they have the movie is that there's even a part in there where he sews human skin on his face, like a leather, almost like he's trying to hide his face. And well, actually, he is trying to hide his face because he's just as messed up as Jason Voorhees. But Jason decided, okay, I'm not gonna sew a piece of human skin on my face. I'm just gonna put on a freaking hockey mask with a machete and scare the snot out of people. So basically, when it comes to Jason, his hockey mask become an iconic. Leatherface's, he is actually based on a real person. Now, there are other serial killers in here that most people don't know about, and they kind of went into obscurity. And I love reading this book. Guys, get this series. I'm telling you, you will learn about serial killers you never even knew existed. The British Butcher is just one. Dennis Nielsen, he's kind of not really talked about, I guess, because he's from a foreign country and he's not from America. So they're like, oh, we don't talk about him. And there's even a guy in here that ate children. Guys, I swear for God, I read a story in here. It was freaky as living daylights. He ate children. He killed his best friend's little girl and ate her. There's even stories about serial killers that go even further than the ones that we know of, even further than Jack the Ripper. And there are like several of them that kind of, after the Ripper, they kind of followed the Ripper. And you get to read about these guys. You get to read what happened in the case, what happened to the person, what happened to the families. You get to read, even during the trial, you get to hear some of the things in the trial. Like, there's like a quote from him, which this is, if you're wondering who he is, the cover guy, that's Ted Bundy. That's what he looks like. And most people would never even think, if you just saw this guy walking down the street, you would not think serial killer. You'd think, wow, he's cute. No. So when you look at these books, I'm going to show you guys what basically, when you get the books, you're going to start off with a black cover. And I understand why they put the darkness in there because, well, technically it is. And basically you get one colored sheet. And you guys should know some of the colors on the book are like this. Some are black and white. Some are red like this. I think what happened was they ended up releasing two different versions. I think these are actually the re-releases. I'm not sure. I can't really tell because it doesn't have the year on them. They may not be. And I think what happened was they decided the very first book of the series, which is Serial Killer, they put color picture on it. And the second book to this series is this one, which is Compulsion to Kill. And yeah, if you're wondering, that is Jeffrey Dahmer's on the front. And the beauty about it, you actually get to read about what happened on his trial, some of the things that the other people said, the awful things that happened to some of his victims. And basically, he told what he did to these people. and he had no fear. And basically, you do get to find out all the everything that the trial. If you weren't in the courtroom at the time, or a jury, or a judge, or a lawyer, you have no idea what really happened in that courtroom. So basically, this book actually gives you the answers that you're looking for, and it has many different people who were serial killers, and you don't have any idea. So let me show you what the book would look like. When you open the books, you get black and white photos. I understand why they did black and white photos, because if you did color photos, some of these photos would be very graphic. And these are like family photos of the killers and stuff, and sometimes of the victims. Like when it comes to him, this is actually a color photo of this is John Wayne Gacy. He actually worked as a clown named Pungo. And I'm going to show you why they do black and white photos, because in this book, as you can see, those are actually, these guys here, these are actually three of his victims. These are actually three of his victims. And as you go through this book, there's a shot in here that I think would definitely not, I understand they did not want it colored, but if you actually look at this shot here in this book, these are actually crime scene photos. And if you look at the one over here that I'm showing you guys here, this little part right here is actually the body of one of his victims that they dug up out of the floor. And then if you look here, you can actually see them digging underneath the floor again. And then you even get the map as to where the bodies were buried. So, and this is a very good photo of the forensics team. And this guy is actually, it actually tells you what this guy is doing. He's actually, where he was digging for a body, he had to come up for air because the stench was so bad he could not breathe. So guys, these books, you will see a lot of this in here. I'm not joking. This is like my favorite picture, where you actually get to see one of the bodies. And I'm like, wow, this guy really was a sick human being. And then the part that gets you is the fact that you realize that they were human when you read these books. And at one point, somewhere in their lives, something snapped in their heads. So guys, this is a great series. If you like watching crime drama shows and crime TV, get this set of books. They're awesome. And remember guys, it's called True Crimes. And it's a great series. It's like one of the best series of them all. Okay guys, my time is going out. But guys, if you want this series, look on Amazon. Amazon might have them for 1 cent. Look on eBay. I bought mine off eBay. All three of these books. So guys, go ahead, get your hands on them. And the unsolved ones, I love this one because this one actually has a story of the Black Dahlia in it, and it tells what they found and how they found it. The internet tells you a lot of things, but this thing right here does a little bit more. So guys, get the books. They're awesome. They're great to have. They're amazing. Okay guys, my time is up, so I'm gonna have to say peace out. Until then, peace out.